Hey everyone, so I wanted to cover the news about Kara Lawson on becoming the Duke women's basketball coach. And this announcement of her getting this job was on July 11th, so this will be the first time she's held a head coaching position. And if you're not aware of who she is, she used to play for the Tennessee Volunteers in her college days, and also she became a WNBA announcer, played in the WNBA at the same time. And then she also got to be an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. And that was pretty recent. And then so now she's going back to college and becoming a head coach. So her birthday is on February 14th, 1981. And the day that the news broke on July 11th, 2020 to her upcoming birthday next year is 219 days away. And Duke equals 219 when using the Jewish cipher. Kara Lawson equals 115, like women's college athletics, 115. Even basketball coach equals 115, a number we're pretty familiar with because Masonic equals 115. And something I found pretty interesting is that she mentioned her old coach, Pat Summitt, who used to coach her while playing for Tennessee, who also passed away in 2016. And I'll get a little bit into that. But she mentions how she thinks she would have been excited. And reading the article, yeah, it is pretty interesting how, how you can even say that. But just to mention them, I think is the point. And Duke women's basketball equals 118, like Pat Summitt equals 118. And Pat Summitt, if you're not aware, she had a pretty major career as a basketball coach, coaching for 38 years and so on, and making all these records. Just to tie in some numbers I see with Kara and Summitt and the team she's played for and coached for, Boston and Kara both equal 77. And then Tennessee Volunteers, who Kara played for and Pat Summitt coached, they all equal 77. Patricia Susan Summitt, 77. And then Lady Volunteers, 77. So a pretty important number. I'm curious to see how well Kara Lawson does in her first season this year, so I'll probably be looking into that more as it continues on, because, America equals 77, and just knowing how big Pat Summitt was, I'm wondering maybe she'll kind of follow in the footsteps of being, if you would call it, legendary, even though these are scripted coaching status, records, everything by the numbers. And just to point out a couple things about Pat Summitt, her last NCAA tournament that she won, because she's known for winning eight NCAA championships, which also has the 115, like college or women's college athletics and basketball coach. That's how I had that there, just to tie in Summitt. Her last win as a championship was on April 8th in 2008, and this was in a tournament that began on March 22nd, which is kind of funny, like 322, because Tennessee Lady Volunteers equals 322. So too bad I didn't know Gematria during this time, because this tournament would have been held during the time I was in high school, And another thing to note about Pat Summitt is she died at the age of 64, and her name equals 64. And then there's 64 teams in a women's tournament since 1996. I think they've done 64 teams. And then if you notice here, they beat Sanford with 64 points to 48 on 4/8. I mean, how more scripted can you get there, right? And talking about how Pat Summitt had the 77 connection with Tennessee Volunteers and Lady Volunteers, what is also crazy is from Pat Summitt's death date, or talking about her death date, if you were to run that from her last championship on April 8th, 2008 to the day that she died, June 28, 2016, It was 3,003 days, kind of like 33, but I wanted to point out that that's the 77th triangular number. So just more ties to show how 77 was a number that hit and connected her with the team that she coached. And then to kind of end it here, this is Kara Lawson when she used to play for Tennessee. And this is like my junior high, elementary probably. I think she graduated from like, what was it, 2003? Tennessee. Yeah, 99, 2003. I was still, I was probably about 9-ish to 13 right there. So, but I mean, I definitely used to pay attention to college and WNBA. Sad now, but I think we've all done it. Anyways, the day that this news had come on July 11th with her getting this head coaching career with Duke, it was the 193rd day of the year, and Lady Volunteers equals 193, something that I noticed. And then, of course, she wore number 20, and here we are in 2020, and another thing too, just to throw out, since this happened after July 4th, and her full name is actually Kara Marie Lawson, 244, just like how America is currently 244 years old. So I think that's pretty much all I had. I just wanted to document this, and I'll probably pay more attention to how her career goes. Alright, see ya.